I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Don't label us left or right. Our American. Not looking for a war, but we came to fight. Our American. Somebody's gotta stand up. Stand up. Somebody's gotta do what's right. We're rising 'cause we're fed up. Got our house in order and got yours inside. American, that's what I am, it's what I think, and what I do. I am American, that's what I am, and I bleed red, white, and blue.
Well. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Super Dave Show. It is Monday, December 14th. You know, do you realize that we only have 16 days until we have a new year? I don't know about you guys. I want this year to be over. This is this has been the worst year in a long time in America, and it's also the day supposedly the electors get together and elect our president, but that's not exactly how it works. That's kind of how it works. I mean, it works there, but there's still another step. But, people are freaking out. They're going, oh, no, nothing, it's got to be bad today because they're going to elect Joe Biden. And the media is going to be in on that. So get ready for it. That's what's going to happen. And when they do, it's really interesting because the media is going to be there. And the first thing they're going to do is say, yes, we now have a new president. This is how it works. We're done. Because there are misinformation and, no lies. Screw the misinformation. They lie. They lie and they keep out the real news. Have you noticed, if you haven't, I don't know where you've been living, that finally, they're starting to talk a little bit, not much. They're starting to talk a little bit about Hunter Biden and all the stuff going on there. And I just find that fascinating, don't you? I find it fascinating that now they finally want to talk about it. And it just is, it's really interesting because they didn't want to say a damn word about it before. During the election. Oh, no, we don't want to talk about that. There's no Chinese. I'll tell you what, any logical person, that leaves basically no audio. No, it should be audio. Really? Everything should be there. I don't know why it would be no audio. Is she the only one not getting audio? Anybody else? Anybody else? Let me try. I'll tell you what, I'm trying a couple things here. Let me go here and see. No audio. Don't be saying that. Everything was going so well. Well, no. There's a delay on Facebook. Okay. There's a delay. That's why. Okay, yeah, I'm good. All right. Hey, Steven, how you doing, buddy? Alrighty, I want to go back to this. Don't worry about the electors today. First off, the media ran the election. They ran the election, okay? And I find it fascinating that we have a media. This is not journalism. The media has no clue about journalism anymore. They're just a bunch of people out there trying to set an agenda, and that's it. I was thinking about this, and Steven, you'll get a kick out of this. People ask me, you don't think we're a democracy? And why aren't we? If we just think about it, a democracy is led by mob rule. All you have to do is look around and see all the people walking around with a face diaper on. That is what democracy looks like. It doesn't matter what the facts are. It doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters. If they can manipulate you to do that, just look around, dead serious, you will find out that's what democracy is all about. Just think about it. You know, the reason we have a republic is because the founders realized that a democracy wasn't going to work. And the whole point, it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than democracy. The whole point is that, you know, let's say, for instance, you know, something comes up and the people are emotional, no doubt about it. Not that the legislators aren't, but the people are emotional. And they want this done now. They want this done now. They want this done now. And it goes through a legislature, through a process. It takes the emotion out of it. And not all the time. I'm just saying compared to what a democracy could be. So everybody out there that's sitting there, you know, they're thinking the word democracy. We are not a democracy. Thank God we're not a democracy, because if we were, honest to God, our country would have been toast a long time ago. But especially now. And we just have to understand that, you know, the reason we are what we are is because of the brilliance of the founders. Every time I think of what's going on now and all the fail safes that the founders came up with, it was brilliant when you think about it. You know, the election is not over, regardless of what they're telling the left. I mean, I'm so tired of hearing people, but I have to say that the one thing, the brilliance of Donald Trump, and a lot of times we do things that's not on purpose. The brilliance of Donald Trump is that we have a president that has exposed all the not all, but a lot of the phony Republicans. I mean, he has. Think about it. He's exposed them. And the reason I bring that up is because when you see these guys come out there, it's like, well, you know, let's move forward. And some of these people just got elected with the help of Donald Trump. You know, it really is bad, but we have to go back to the primary and the voters. In the primaries, when we're not voting for the right people, we're lazily going to the polls and going, oh, no big deal. We get what we deserve. And my goal as a talk show host and Real Republicans and the rest of it is that we make the primary the biggest election next to the general election. I mean, that's really what it's all about, because I want to be excited going to the polls. You people that go to the damn polls on first of all, I have high respect for people that go to the polls and know what they're doing, know what they're talking about. When they go, you know, I've worked the polls, and I got to tell you the truth, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing because people will go there, and most of them, I'm dead serious, they have a clue, but that's about it. But a lot of them say, oh, I didn't know that. You know, they have no idea who they're voting for most of the time. And in the primary, they go, well, you know, he's been our congressman for a couple times. I just know his name. That's it. Do you know what he's done? Oh, no. I just know that he's a good man. Really? How do you know he's a good man? Well, he just is. I just know. That's the mentality of most voters. And if that's you, I'm telling you, folks, you really are just ill-equipped to go to the polls. Now, you know, we talk about the left, and believe me, they're nutso. I every once in a while I'll go on Facebook and I mean I'm on Facebook, but I'll go on Facebook on some of the media Facebook stuff, and the idiocy of the left is just overwhelming. But I will look. No offense, guys. The idiocy of the right is overwhelming. It really is. You know, when we have, you know, when our governor in Missouri, if you voted for Mike Parson in the primary, oh, yeah, that's it too. If you voted for Mike Parson in the primary, I'm telling you right now, you are the problem. And if you said, well, I didn't know anybody else, you didn't even try to look. You did, you know, I have a lot of friends that weren't really sure who to vote for. And you know what they told me? They said, I I really did my research, and I found out. Now, the election's over, and I get it. But I found out that Dr. Jim Neely was by far the best man. No doubt about it. I did my research. Not because they picked my guy, because they did their research. But when I would go out there, and this is what happens. Look, I really believe that one of the people in that race especially was a plant. I really do. And if it wasn't, I don't really care, because the people that actually decided to vote for him, and some of them were talk show hosts, which really blew me away. They claim to be, so well informed, but they weren't. And I lost a lot of respect for some of these people because they were supporting people that's like, why are you supporting that person? And it's not because it wasn't mine. They really didn't know who the hell they were supporting. And they have nerve enough to tell the voters? I'll tell you what, when I talk to my friends who are voting, the first thing I do is say, have you checked them out? Well, and as soon as they do that, it's like, no, don't just tell me you barely did. You barely did. Because you got to really check these people out. Look, right now, we have a governor in our state that has a state of emergency in there. And most people don't even know what it means. The state of emergency really means that the state of Missouri gets all this CARES money. Oh yeah, we get federal money. That's your money, by the way. Federal money. People don't even know the disconnect there. They go, well, we're getting from the federal government. It's like, where the hell you think they get the money from? Unbelievable. If that's you, then I'm sorry. You haven't done your homework. You really don't know. And the whole purpose of this show is to explain to people what politics is, what government's about elections, all that stuff. Because I honestly believe that most people, and look, I'm not the know-it-all, but most people really don't know. I have to tell you, though, I have some fascinating friends that I know that, in fact, a lot of them told me, he said, Dave, you turned me on to it. I never really cared about politics before, but I'm understanding more and more now. Well, there's a reason why. And I will take credit for this. It's because when I look at these people, everyone, I go, what have you done? You don't even bother to look up the people running for office, and you're going to tell me something you saw on TV and no, it doesn't work that way. Well, hasn't he done this? No. They just come up with these reasons. So anyway, I'll get off of that. But the ones now, let me tell you right now, I got more people coming to me, showing me all kinds of stuff, and they're doing their homework, and I am so proud of them. I really am. And by the way, I can't look at everything you send me, but I appreciate it. I don't get mad. Some people, I think anything they find they send me, like I never see it, and probably 90% of the time I get duplicates of it. I get a lot on Messenger. And every once in a while, do something, but some people live on it. And I mean no harm. I'm just glad you're doing your homework, but because I don't like everything or something like that, don't think I'm not paying attention. I am. So those are the people I think are doing their job. Okay, the Trump supporters were in Washington, D.C. over the weekend. And the Proud Boys, it's really stupid. Do you realize how many dumbass Democrats who are calling the Proud Boys racist, because everything's racist to those people? The leader of the Proud Boys is a black guy. He's just, and the Democrats are, he's it. Of course, I did see somewhere that if you are a Trump supporter, you're either a racist or an Uncle Tom. That's where we are. It's really unfortunate, but when you see what's going on and you see the amount of people that really and truly don't even know who these people are, but they went in there and it was so cool. They went in there and they were they went up to Antifa. They had Antifa on their heels. And I got to tell you something. That's what I'm talking about. You know, there's so many people that I know. Look, I have no problem joining the Proud Boys because I may be an old fart, but I'll tell you what, I am so dedicated to my country that I'm willing to fight for it. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of others that will. So, all right, we're gonna take a phone call here, see who we got. All right, you're on the Super Dave Show. Who is this? Whoop, hold on a second here. You're on the Super Dave Show. Who we got here?
Lori Ann Steele from your Facebook page.
Oh, yeah. How you doing, Lori Ann? Yes. What's up? What's up?
It's just, I'm listening to you, and I just wanted to tell you I appreciate what you're doing. There's not many people out there that are doing what you do.
Well,
or they don't come out.
Well, you know what? And I don't want to take all the credit here, but you are right, because most people, they, you know, and I don't mean this against them. Some of them I get, but a lot of them just want to play hero. Yeah, just listen to my show and I'll tell you all the good stuff and go forward. And that's not me.
I usually do listen to you.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. You know, I'm not a big kudos person. I do my best, but it really means a lot when people listen, not because I happen to be the guy to listen to, only because I know they want a better country. And the people I think that listen to me have the biggest hearts, and they're the biggest lovers of our country. I do believe that.
Then why isn't it working right now? I'm just so disgusted with what's going on. And you know what? It's just a week or so before Christmas, and we're not united at all.
Well,
I am so sick of the Kamala Harris population that we have. I'm tired.
Well, but I'll tell you, the biggest reason why is because, look, and we're all guilty of it, we have allowed the established Republicans to run our party. And
yep, not going to do it anymore.
Exactly. And I'm a threat to them, and I know I am. They don't like me. You know, it's kind of like Trump. If all the ones coming out saying how much that Trump just needs to move forward are the same ones telling Dave, just shut up. We got it covered. You know, we don't need another Republican Party. No, we don't have a Republican Party right now except for the one we're starting. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, exactly. And you know what? When President Trump started to run back in 2016,
yes,
I looked at my roommate and I said, this is what we need to run our country. And I've owned and run businesses before, and you need a business owner, runner type person. This country needs to be run like a business. And he's also keeping the Christian part of it in it, but that to the side, you know, the taxes that we pay and everything else, he knows how to run the country.
You're right. And in spite of, and this is what a good business owner does, in spite of all the garbage. Look, Trump had to deal with the mafia, with the the political mafia and the real mafia, both of them. He had to deal with both of them. The unions, of course, that's mafia and the rest of it. So he still had to get things done in spite of them. And that's why when he walked down that escalator and said, I'm running for president, I was on his side at that minute. And as a lot of people know,
yes,
I was called every name in the book. You're an idiot. You're stupid. You've lost your mind. And now I don't look so stupid, I guess. But, you know, of course, a lot of them think I am still, but I don't care. It doesn't matter because I know I was with the right guy. You know.
Do you know what? It's because people don't understand running a business. Okay? They don't. They think that the minute you own a business and run it, you're the rich person and you're the evil person. And heck no. I sacrificed so much when I owned my own staffing company. It was horrible. You owe me. That's got to stop.
Then you understand these lockdowns. I'm telling you what, when I see anybody saying a lockdown or restriction because of the stupid COVID thing, when I hear anybody agree with that, they are my enemy because they have no idea what you just said. They have no idea what it's like to run a business. You are telling those people you can forget your income for a while. You're rich. You can afford it. Just do without and make sure you pay employees at the same time. They really don't have a clue, do they?
Exactly. And you know what? For the first year that I owned my own business, which was the staffing company, I did not take an income. I lived off of my savings. Oh, gee, a savings account. What an idea.
You know, it's funny. It's funny in a way you should say that because when I was in my early 20s, I ran my first business and I stupidly took on a partner. And when I went on vacation, I had so much money in our business account. My partner, which didn't last very long, spent all the money and checks I had written that had not been deposited yet. It was COD checks for stuff we were doing. They bounced. And when I got back, I took money out of my savings, as you said, and I paid everybody back, and I told the partner to take a hike. But if I wouldn't have had savings there, forget it. We aren't taught to save anymore. In fact, it's designed not to save because when you and I were younger, the savings accounts, you could get 6, 7% interest, 5, 6, 7%. Now you're lucky to get 1 or 2. And so what that does, it tells everybody don't save. Just invest in the stock market. And that is by design, and we should all know that.
You know what? I emptied out my 401k several years ago, and I put it in a savings account at my bank. And actually, my roommate, he takes the money out of his direct deposit payroll and puts it in a safe. And I'm not going to tell you where I live, but he has a safe full of cash. Because things are not going to go well.
I don't, you know what? And for someone to say you're going to lose money on it, when the interest rate that they'll pay you is 1 and 2%, I don't really care. I really don't care. It's not a big deal. I'd rather have it there because I know it's going to be there. Because these days, who knows if your money's going to be there anymore?
Exactly.
So, okay. Well, hey, look, I appreciate you calling in. I really do, and thank you so much. And do it again, really.
I will.
Okay.
I watch you all the time.
All righty. Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, everybody. See, not everybody's shy. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for calling in. That's really nice. And she's, I forgot where she's from. She'll tell me. Washington spent at Christmas. Well, you know, I'm going to go back to the governor and all that stuff. The governors that have filed a state of emergency, which is all, what that does is it gives directors of health departments and mayors and governors, mayors and county executives, all kinds of power they didn't have before with your money. With your money. Now, I don't know about you. I don't like that. Why in the hell? You know, we have a health department here, as everybody knows if you watch my show, that is out of control. All right, it's bad enough they're taking our tax money and they are spending it on these portable signs, digital billboards. They're doing it all. The other day, we've had, I'm going to check and see what it is today, but the other day we had, they put out a little video on their Facebook and it's like, well, whatever, whatever you want to do. And then, lo and behold, I see that same video on TV. They're taking our money and forcing and spending our money and trust me, those aren't cheap. They're not free. And they're spending on that your money to tell you to make sure you wash your hands. So this was really in regards to a guy in his mid-70s who had died. And it was because of COVID. And this morning, I even got a notice from a friend of mine. He said he is so disgusted with this COVID crap because he had COVID, by the way. And he got through it fine. He didn't wear a mask. He got through it fine, which seems to be the norm. But he had 2 relatives. Both had, lung cancer, stage 4 lung cancer. And they both died, and they named it COVID. He said they were ready to die anyway. They knew they were. And they went ahead and called it COVID. That's your COVID deaths. If you notice, nobody dies of flu anymore. Nobody dies of lung cancer. Hey, they don't die of lung cancer. See, right there. They died of COVID. The cause of death, that's COVID. You know, whenever I hear, honest to God, the first thing in my brain that goes through my brain is when I hear the amount of deaths of people dying from COVID, I just look at it and I go, that's bull. Oh, we have 300,000 deaths. Yeah, what? Maybe 20,000 are really COVID only? Maybe. Because usually COVID doesn't kill anybody unless there's underlying conditions. Not all the time. Not all the time, but that's what it is. And let's not kid anybody. COVID was invented to bring down a president just like everything else. It was. And I got to say, I got to give the Democrats credit for this. Probably the greatest farce ever placed on the American people. Because when I go into I'm honest to God, Wendy and I went to the store the other day, and we saw 0 people. This was at Aldi. We saw 0 people in there that were maskless. We were the only 2 that were maskless. Now, nobody said anything. I think people know better to say things to me. But that's what Trump has to deal with. I'm sorry, but that is awful. You know, if you're someone, and I tell people, well, you know, it's some of the people really crack me up. They act real tough, but they go to the store and they go, well, it has a sign. They all have signs. And only, let me see, only one time at Costco was I refused. And when I did, I had a Costco membership, and I had the integrity to walk over there and say, guess what? Well, it's funny because if you don't know the story, when I went in, they said, no, you can't go in unless you have a mask on. And I said, well, I argued with them a little bit. And finally, I said, well, I'll just get my membership money back. And they said, well, you have to have a you have to have a mask to do that. And I just looked at him. And I don't comply quite as easy as most people. I guess you know that. I just said, call a cop. And I walked straight over there, and they knew I wasn't farting around. And farting is a nice word, how I felt then. I walked over there, and they had, would you like that on your card or cash? And I said, I'll take cash. So I went ahead and got it on I got the cash right there. They didn't call a cop. I wasn't leaving until I got my money. But see, that's the point. People just comply. Why are Republicans complying when it doesn't work? You look at the packaging, all that stuff. It doesn't work. Jefferson County Health Department. Why they don't instruct on health? They can't give it out, medical advice, because none have medical training. Exactly. Isn't that amazing? We have a health department. This is the stupidity of you people. Not the ones listening to the show, because you listen to the show, you're smart. The stupidity of these people. You have people there with 0 health training giving out health advice. And you fall for this? Just like Lorene said, we have a guy in charge named Donald Trump who knows how to run things. I can go through so many people in charge in government at every level, and you can see the incompetence left and right. And what are we doing? We're electing them again. Nancy, that's our problem. And I brought this up before. I was in the appliance business for years. I was the guy that came to your house and fixed your refrigerator or whatever. I was a troubleshooter. And I had a company, and I taught my techs how to do this stuff. But the one thing that I know that people did is they would look in the yellow pages. There used to be yellow pages. You look at and define the name or whatever. But most of the people that were there were qualified. You don't go in the lawyer section to find out if they can work on your refrigerator. I know I'm making this very simple parallel here, but it's true. You don't go in the lawyer section to find out how to work on your refrigerator. You don't go in there to look in that section to find somebody to run for mayor. Probably a better selection because they learn how to troubleshoot. But dead serious, that's not what you do. When you want somebody that's really qualified, like Lorene said, you vote for the guy who knows how to run things. Not that, it just amazes me. what the hell does Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, or any of those people know about running anything? You know, when you run a business, you don't know everything. I mean, you know how to get things done. That was the one thing about Donald Trump that I absolutely love him to death for. Donald Trump knows how to get things done. Now, if you're one of the opposing people here and you're going, you're full of crap, if you ever want to call in, and don't tell me he's a racist. I'm so sick of hearing that stupidity. It's not even funny. Whenever you people call me and say dumb things like that, I don't even waste my time with you. It's not worth it. But when you want to call in and talk about these things, I don't have a problem with that. But don't tell me that, well, I voted for him because he said this. That's what happened in the last gubernatorial election. I go by people's records. I go by what they've done in their life, their histories. What have you done? I remember in the last election, and I bring it up because I learned a lot in that election. We had people who had never run anything. Our president and governor, he was playing governor for a while, but he didn't really run much. And it shows he's being run by somebody else is what he's doing. You've got that. You've got, I could go on and on here. But all these Democrats here, none of them had done anything. And if you notice the ones that have, they don't want. The ones that have, they go, well, we don't want you. That's it. We don't want you. Let me see. Reading it there. Well, and see, that's just it. All you have to do is run. And by the way, when you're the Jefferson County Health Department, all you have to do is know somebody. I looked up, we're going back and forth here. The Jefferson County Health Director has no medical experience. So here's my question. The dumbasses that have hired her to begin with. Why are you hiring somebody with no medical experience? I mean, I understand why they don't have to be a doctor. I don't know why. But I mean, at least somebody at least has some experience. But you have somebody out there pushing, I think something is dead wrong. I don't like my tax money being spent on TV commercials telling me that the only way to stop COVID is stick a face diaper on and wash my hands every 5 minutes. I got into it with a cop friend of mine yesterday because I told him, I said, Dr. Neely, who is a physician for 35 years, said, let's stop the social distancing stuff and take the mask off and go back to normal. He's dealt with this stuff for years, and I've had many doctor friends tell me, not just him. But those doctors, the first thing out of his mouth, he goes, well, he's not much of a doctor then. Here we got a cop who thinks he knows more than a doctor. And he's calling him out. I'll tell you what, all you people that pull that crap, I am ready to block you in a heartbeat. I am so sick of that kind of utter nonsense and stupidity to call. I mean, it's not that he's my friend, and I don't care if we disagree. But for you, because you have a different opinion, Mr. Police Officer, I lost respect for this guy. Because it's like, who the hell you think you are? That's like telling me for the business I was in for so many years, I knew, and I was really good at it. And I was a troubleshooter. I was good at it. But something? I get people out there, and I don't mean to make fun of them, but sometimes because they haven't really, you know what? This is what Donald Trump's done, and this is why I respect him. And there is a similarity here. Donald Trump understands troubleshooting. He understands you look at all these different things, and he's a different type of troubleshooter than I was. But he looks at all these things, and he says, all right, this is where we need to go here. We need to go here. We need to hire an expert here. I'm not an expert. Donald Trump was the first one to tell you he's not an expert everywhere. However, whenever he comes up with the fact with something saying, well, I'm not a doctor, but I understand. This is how he said. I remember this. He said something like, I understand hydroxychloroquine seems to work. The media, the corporate slanted media, they're not even media really, comes out and says he is playing doctor now. They take his words and spin it. Kind of reminds me of Todd Aiken. Remember Todd Aiken? Todd Aiken, the only thing Todd Aiken did was stupid was go on Charles Janko's show. If you're not familiar with that, Todd Aiken is the one that the media manipulated his language in when he said, I understand. He goes, doctors have told him that if a woman gets raped, that their body generally rejects it, whatever it is. And he said the doctors told him. All of a sudden, it became his words. That's how the media manipulates. I'm not defending Todd Aiken either way. It doesn't make a difference. My point is they will take whatever you say and manipulate. They've done it. They do it to everybody all the time. They do it to Trump. They've done it to me. That's why I'm just to a point where if I talk to the media, and I would tell you right now, this is something I've told a lot of candidates. You have no idea how to talk to the media. They think the one thing I have learned about candidates especially, they all think they're super smart. They all do. Oh, I know how to handle the media. And I'll tell you right now, most good people, this is something where you really are very naive at. You think you know how to handle the media. I'm telling you right now, I consider myself a media professional. If you think you know how to handle the media, you're going to lose in most cases. Because most candidates really think when they tell the media something, yes, they're a propaganda machine. They really think that if they tell them something, they're going to say it. Whenever I try to help instruct some of these people, the media come to you, and this is what happened to us at the protest in Jefferson City. And the media says, can we interview you? I said, sure. So the first question, aren't you concerned about these people who are losing their lives? There's people dying of coronavirus. It was called coronavirus back then. I said, I'm concerned about everybody. There's a lot of people losing their businesses. All these people, there's a lot going on here. So I'm concerned about everybody. That was not the response they wanted. But you never give the media the response they want. Because the response they wanted was, yes, I'm really concerned about those people. Then they get another question that, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Then it's too late, because then all of a sudden you really don't care. They are a propaganda machine. That's the one thing you have to know. And so when candidates go out there, and this, like I said, I see this all the time. I can tell you right now, I have had candidates on my show, and I can eat them for lunch. Any candidate comes on my show, and I'm not being rude. I don't have to be. All I have to do is ask them simple questions. And they are the easiest ones to fall into any answer I want them to be. They really are. Because they're so interested, because most of them really aren't that smart anyway, but most of them are so interested because they're being interviewed. And they think I'm really hot stuff. I want to tell you right now, if you're going on TV and you really think you're hot stuff because the media is asking to be on there, I think most of the time, today's media, they're asking you because they know you're a sucker. Because not all, but most politicians really don't do it. Have you ever watched TV and you're going, why did he say it like that? I do that all the time because I deal with that stuff all the time. But honestly, most of them really don't answer the question in the way we'd like to hear them answer it, because they kind of go the media route. Because these guys that play media, they are good at what they do, and they can slant anything and get you moving any direction they want. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about taxes there. I'll go back to what I said before. If you are a Republican and you have a mask on because you're wanting to be nice, don't tell me you're a toughie. I love the ones that say, well, I'm really tough. But when I go into a store, on the door, if it has a sign, I put my mask on just like a good little doobie. And let me tell you right now, the signs are there because they have to be there. Because they don't want some little Nazis running around saying there's no signs on the door. Yes, we are experiencing Germany all the way. All the way. Speaking of infiltrators, have you seen the news of how many Chinese people are in the United States? If you think they're all here because they're just being nice and they want to join the United States, they want to help us with our country. You ever hear of the CIA? They have the same thing over there. There are so many infiltrators over here, it's not even funny. It's really very scary. And we are allowing it to happen. I see the people I'm glad to have you here. You know what? I'm not glad to have spies here. There's spies everywhere. There's spies in my audience. There's spies everywhere. When you go to a restaurant, we have friends that are spies. Oh yes, yes. We experience that ourselves. Yes, we have friends that are spies. The ones that say, "Well, you know something, we have to." Where am I going with this? We have to not worry about those people because they can't hurt us. They all hurt us. They really do. So when you go, and here's the biggest thing now on our Real Republicans website, and I may put it somewhere else too, but I really don't want to. Not the website, but our Facebook page. The reason we're putting things up there because we don't want people just to be fans. We want people, that's a go. I'll get to that too. We want people to be joiners. We want people to be part of taking our school systems back. You know what? I'll tell you one thing. My friend Linda told me, she goes, I listen to these other people, and she goes, Dave, I think you're finally getting to them. I think you're finally getting to them because there's other talk show hosts saying, we need to take the schools back. You need to run for school boards. I'm glad they're doing that. Every once in a while, the people that know me know that I was first to say that. And the only reason I say that is because a lot of copycats out there, and I don't care. I really don't care. I'm glad they're doing it because I want that. But they want to act like they're doing something new. I say it because I just don't say it. I want to, I'm looking at people all the time and I'm going, run for school board. Don't just, be brave, run for school board. After you're on there, you're going to feel really good about it. It is on our website. That's right. If you go to realrepublicans.net, you will see. That's right. I did it yesterday. Well, it's on our Facebook page. It's on our website. If you go on there, I put my first deal on there about elections. If you go on there, you'll see it. And you'll see all the different positions open. Now, you may think, oh, no big deal. It is a big deal. There are the people that run for office on school boards, 99% of the time, the ones that win are the ones supported by the liberals, by the teachers' unions. They win, our kids lose. And we are allowing these people to win all the time. The whole purpose of Real Republicans, unlike the Republican Party who doesn't give a damn about the schools, see, that's why most people are getting pissed off at the Republican Party. They have every right to. They'll learn more and more about us as time goes on. They kicked you off the internet for posting Georgia Reload. Isn't that funny? Look, I use Facebook and other ones as I can. I'm on Parler and Gab and MeWe and a few other places. I'm trying to expand it. I wonder if I tried doing something yesterday. I want to see real quick if I'm on there. But I tried to do it on my own website. So I'm going to, let me see. On my own website. Let me see if it worked. I don't know if it worked or not, but I thought I'm not a website guy. I tried it. Let me see if it comes up. Okay. Well, I don't know if you have to be a Facebook person to get it. It's on there. It is on there. I'll give it that. So if you go to my website, if you go to my website and just press my mug, you'll have it right there. I had to try that out to see if it would work, and it did. I am not a website guru or anything like that. You can tell. But I guess, my friend Linda said, she said, you're a lot more techie than most of us. And I said, then I see people like Nikki and others, and they think I'm dumb as a box of rocks when it comes to this stuff because they're so good at it. But anyway, all right. Let me get to a couple things here. I really want. By the way, there's a small county in where is it here? In Michigan, and it's really funny with these Dominion machines. And I'm wondering why they're there. Well, they didn't have a choice. I got a kick out of this one. There's 6 people for the that can vote for the Ellsworth schools. Okay. The Dominion machines had Mark Edward Gronick had 333 votes. Christopher Wallace had 320, and there was 10 write-in votes. When in reality, the recount, Mark and Christopher both got 3 votes. That's all that was there. There's no election fraud. Not at all. And it goes on and on. There's other ones in here. You know, they did the recount, and they find these other people, you know, and it goes on and on. They show all these problems, but if you ever notice, all the recounts, I mean, all the original, you know, that they had, the computer glitches. First of all, every computer glitch benefited Joe Biden. Every single one of them. How can it be? Honest to God, how can that be? There's no such thing. There's just no way. But that's how it was. But the Dominion voting machines were doing that everywhere, and I brought this up too. Why in the world were they connected to the internet? They're not supposed to be. And I know this is repeat, but you know, the bottom line is that we should all be thoroughly pissed off. We should be ready to just go attack people in these states. And I will say one thing now. Now, I realized the other day that the Supreme Court threw out the court case. And even Mark Levin and some of the brilliance of the attorneys out there said it probably wouldn't make it through, and the people were mad at the Supreme Court. I do not want the Supreme Court making law. And so I kind of understand where we're coming from. I do kind of understand that. But there are other things going on in the background that a lot of us, yeah, I'll get to that in a second there. There's a lot of us that people have to understand. There's stuff going on, and I've had some really good. There's stuff going on in the background that you just don't know. All right, I'm going to look at this. I look for history on Dominion voting machines. Looks like propaganda. The history it's been scrubbed. And Larry, I told you, I am not non-techie. I'm not as techie as, you know, some of my friends, but I don't do too bad. I do know how to write code. And I've explained this 1,000 times, but I'll say it again. Writing code to add votes has got to be the easiest thing you could do. I mean, I can even do that. And there's no reason to update anything because addition is addition. It's not that hard. You identify something, you add one. I mean that's all you're doing every time. When you go in there, you are adding a vote. That's all you're doing. And for anybody to say, well, we had updated machines, we had some. No, you updated machines because you wanted to fix it. And the step farther, this is why people that don't know code don't understand this. And I'll say it again. I can write code that will say, this is why I know it's all bullshit. I can write code that will say, at this time, I want you to add this many votes to this person, not the person, they go by numbers, but this identifying number. So I can add 1,000 votes to that number. I can do that. It's not hard to do. Really, it isn't. You know, it really isn't. And I got it from a friend of mine. They would they would lease their machines out. And when they lease their machine, they wrote the code. They would lease their machines out, and when people stopped paying, their code actually instructed them not to do certain things. And so the people on the other end wouldn't pay. They think, well, I can get away with it. They go ahead and they try to look something up, but it wouldn't work. And all it was a code in there that said, don't use these particular facets of this program after this. If we haven't, that's why they update your code a lot of time, because they want to say, okay, it's all right. You can, we can add that. That's why they update. Updates are not just about we found a better way to make this. It's about doing other things, and that's what they did. And they said after a while, if they didn't pay it, basically the whole program would go down. And then the people would have to call up and say, my program isn't working, and go, oh, we'll be glad to fix it, but we can't do it until you catch up on what you owe. And then they would update the machine. That's how it works. So for anybody to think that writing code is really bad, is hard to do, it's really not that hard. This is easy stuff, but why are we going, and I'll go again, why are we going to different countries for this stuff? I don't get it. Well, I do get it. It's real easy to figure out, really is, because I can get a first year programmer to write that code, a decent one, and anybody that, okay, I know a lot of the people watching this show really don't understand what I'm saying when it comes to that, and I'm not trying to speak Greek to you, but I'm telling you right now, it's the easiest thing you can pretty much do. It really is. I remember back in the late 80s when I started playing with this stuff. Yes, I've been doing it for a while, and I remember the first time I actually got it to put two things together. I don't want to get too technical here, but when there would be, you would have and I'll give you an idea here. You would have a field that would be city, and a field that would be state, and a field that would be zip code, and when you had when you put it down on one line, you can make it city, state, zip, but you would tell it to add certain things, to take the city, add a comma, add a space. I mean, there's just things you do there, and that's how easy it is. It's really not that hard. It really isn't. For the first time I did that, I thought I cracked the atom. I split the atom. It was like, wow, this is really cool. But when I found out how simple some of this stuff was, it was like, well, this isn't that bad at all. So, and for those of you that know a little bit of that, you understand what I'm saying. I mean, I've had people contact me and said, Dave, you're on target with this. There's no reason to ever update this stuff, ever. The only reason and actually, you don't even have to update it ever if you get down to it. Now, some people will say, well, you got different names, all this stuff. There are ways you can write programs. It's not even a problem. It really isn't. So I don't buy all the update crap. The update just means you're trying to fix something. And let's not kid anybody. They've been fixing our elections for a long time. They fix them locally too. They fix it in our county. And let me tell you something. That's what really got me pissed off, because I knew I won my election. And I don't care if I lose. I really couldn't care less. It all worked out for the good, by the way. And you know what? They really screwed up this time, because they said, well, we'll make sure Dave loses his election. But then after that, I mean, honest to God, everybody, I was just to a point. I said, you know what? I think I'm just going to stop doing the show. I think I'm going to just go ahead and go off in the sunset, enjoy my life, and that's it. And after I got screwed out of my election, and I saw what happened to Dr. Neely, I said, no way. And then I came up with Real Republicans, and it's been kind of a hit ever since. I didn't get to watch the stream, but I'm going to read what Sherry said. I watched his live stream of the Proud Boys on Saturday night in D.C. The Proud Boys said that the media would twist what happened to make them look bad, and Antifa look like peaceful protesters. Sunday morning, lo and behold, exactly. That's right. And that's why. See, Sherry, and now you understand why I tell people. The media is going to say it their way. They are not going to be honest with you, not one bit honest with you. And if you think they are, You're foolish. You actually believe that garbage? The media is not. Oh, in fact, let me go a step farther with this whole deal, okay? These are our enemies. Yeah, exactly, Carl. These are our enemies. We have the Democrats. We have the media, which are Democrats. We have establishment Republicans. Don't ever think establishment Republicans are on our side. And if they establish Republicans, that's people who write, like Dan Shaw, who write bills for mail-in voting, giving excuses for this bull to happen. Yes, people like that. Those are people that should never see light of office again. Probably next time I see the guy, he's going to punch me out. Ask me if I give a damn. I really don't care. I think he's too afraid of me anyway. I don't really care. That's just it. I'm going to tell you the truth on this show. If I die or not, doesn't make a difference. I've had people say, "Are you concerned about your health?" I'm more concerned about that than I am of COVID. I really, I couldn't care less about COVID. And for people, by the way, if you're one of those people that's really all concerned about COVID, they got you. They got you. Live your life. Take the mask off. Go into a store. Got frog in my throat here. Go into a store. Enjoy the store breathing oxygen. Now, I am kind of I like to think I was born with common sense and logic skills. And I don't know. Tell me what you think. I know somebody's watching this show right now. He'll agree with me. When I breathe in oxygen, that is nature's way of giving me what I need to cleanse my system to some extent and allow the poisons to come out when I breathe out, called carbon dioxide. But when I have that mask on, now every once in a while, okay, fine, you can handle it. But and don't give me the excuses stores because you're still a fool if you're going in there with it on. If they will allow you, walk in there without, have your mask in your pocket, okay? And if they say, would you like a mask? Just say no, thank you. Walk through. Now if they chase you down, put it on. Okay, fine, I get it. I walk out. But if you really got to have something, I'm not going to tell you what to do. But don't just walk in there with a mask on. Don't do it. Back to what I was saying. So you got the mask on, and you can't breathe in oxygen. You're breathing in your own petri dish. Think about this. Let's say, for instance, you have a touch of COVID. This happens all the time. This is how your system gets immunes itself. It does. I mean, it stops disease. You breathe in, you breathe out. Your body does that. I mean, if there's somebody else here, I mean, this is common sense. I'm not playing doctor here. For me, this is what I've learned in my life. And so when you put that mask over your face all day long, those poisons in your body that you breathe out, look, you breathe out your poisons, okay? You breathe out your breathe out. You breathe out your poisons. You go to the bathroom, you breathe out you get rid of your poisons. I mean, you sweat, you get rid of your poison. That's what you do. Your poisons in your body from all that garbage you're eating has to go out. Think, here's another way of looking at it. Look at the ingredients on the packaging of the garbage you're putting in your system. Look at that. And just think, if you've got a mask on and you're breathing in this drug and that drug, it's not leaving and breathing out, that has to be tearing your immune system up. It just does. Look, and I know I shouldn't be playing doctor and all that stuff, but it's true. And if we can't figure this out, we're in trouble here. So, all right, figuring it out, I'm going to take a short break here. I'm so glad things are working out well today. Let me see here. I'm gonna do. Where is it here? I thought I had it here, but let me see. May have to bring it back up here. I'll bring it back up here because I like to do things a little bit different sometimes. I'm not going to play the leftist news right now. So let me just bring this up, and we'll take a break and share it with your friends, just like my friend said. So, oh, wow. That's cool. I just noticed it's on YouTube. I'm on YouTube now, too. So let me see. There you go. All right, we're going to play this so I can take a break. And let me see which one we want here. Let's do this one here. All right, we'll get this set up first. All right, we're going to go ahead and play this. So we'll be back in a few.
I remember a teacher that I had. Now I went through the 7th grade. I went to the 7th grade.
I always liked this. This is one of the coolest things ever put out there. You got to go back a long time for it to happen.
Now I went.
All right, here we go.
I went to the 7th grade. I left home when I was 10 years old because I was hungry. And I used to, this is true. I work in the summer, I go to school in the winter. But I had this one teacher, he was the principal of the Harrison School in Vincennes, Indiana. To me, this was the greatest teacher, a real sage of my time, anyhow. He had such wisdom. And we were all reciting the Pledge of Allegiance one day. And he walked over, this little old teacher, Mr. Laswell was his name. Mr. Laswell, he says, he says, I've been listening to you boys and girls recite the Pledge of Allegiance all semester, and it seems as though it's becoming monotonous to you. If I may I recite it and try to explain to you the meaning of each word. I, me, an individual, a committee of one, pledge. Dedicate all of my worldly goods to give without self-pity. Allegiance, my love and my devotion. To the flag, our standard, Old Glory. A symbol of freedom. Wherever she waves, there's respect. Because your loyalty has given her a dignity that shouts freedom is everybody's job. United. That means that we have all come together. States. Individual communities that have united into 48 great states. 48 individual communities with pride and dignity and purpose. All divided with imaginary boundaries, yet united to a common purpose. And that's love for country. And to the Republic. A state in which sovereign power is invested in representatives chosen by the people to govern. And government is the people. And it's from the people to the leaders, not from the leaders to the people, for which it stands. One nation, meaning so blessed by God, indivisible, incapable of being divided, with liberty, which is freedom, the right of power to live one's own life without threats, fear, or some sort of retaliation, and justice, the principle or qualities of dealing fairly with others, for all, which means, boys and girls, it's as much your country as it is mine. And now, boys and girls, let me hear you recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Since I was a small boy, 2 states have been added to our country, and 2 words have been added to the Pledge of Allegiance, under God. Wouldn't it be a pity if someone said that is a prayer and that would be eliminated from schools too?
Well, isn't that true? It is. It's exactly what's happened. And it for me, it's so sad that we have done that. We have allowed it to happen. I'll go back to what I said. Everything I ever talk about, I put the blame on us, and that's why we have to. Right now, we have a Republican Party, a fake Republican Party, that all they want to do is work with Democrats. And I mean, I don't have a problem with working with Democrats. I don't get tired of it either. In fact, I want to talk about that just for a minute here. The things I try to play at the top of the hour so I can take a break are things that if you don't feel it hits you in the heart, then you are not really an American. You just aren't. You are not a patriot. Because all these things that I play, honestly, are things that I think every person should be going, wow. That was, 60 years ago, whatever, 50 years ago. I don't know what year that was done. And I'm sure somebody would tell me. But think of how it was. Can you imagine? Think about this. Can you imagine that happening today? There would be idiot protesters out there. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. That's where we've gone because, and people say that's what those teachers, those schools have done. You got to go back to the source, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'll say it again. Republican Party, 66, thank you. I knew somebody told me that, but that's a long time ago. That's a long time ago. And if you did it today, you'll be bad. So, for people to say, yeah, those schools need to fix themselves, but we need to do this. You know what? I'm tired of people saying, well, I don't want to go there. I won't go here. No, we got to take our country back. Right now we got all these stupid shutdowns. And I hear people say, well, I just won't buy anything from St. Louis County. Look, I get it. But you're not, here's the point. You are not hurting Sam Page. He couldn't care less. That man doesn't give a damn. He doesn't care. He says he does. He doesn't. And I begin to wonder if the people of St. Louis County do. Because you have a few restaurants that stood up and everybody else gave in. I get it. Because the county says, we're going to pull your license. But to be fair to those businesses, how many people, this is how I look at them, this is exactly what you got to look at. How many people are walking in these stores? There are a lot of them that say you must have a mask on. You don't. Be brave. I know I'm talking to a gal the other day. She always acts tough on Facebook, and I love her. She's a nice person. But she goes, well, they said I got to wear one. You don't. And we all told her that. Well, I don't want to cause trouble. Then don't tell me how tough you are. You expect the people you expect our military to go out there and fight the enemy? Well, I don't think I should do that. No. Right now, the liberals are our enemies in a way, and we can beat them at the polls. But we don't just sit back and say, well, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. I am so tired. You're exactly right. Nobody wants to pay the cost. I got to tell you, it's twofold when somebody says, thank you for what you're doing, Dave. I really and truly appreciate it. But the first thing I think of that comes from me, if you really thank me, join me. Because I can't do it by myself. And when we have, the other day, a friend of mine made a comment about the fact that they did a protest rally, St. Louis County. She goes, yeah, we had like 30 people. I guess because it was cold. And I said, Brenda, you were there. And I can't go to every single one. But there's people who've never been to one. And come up with their excuse. Actually, I didn't even know about that one. But every Saturday, And I'll get the information again every Saturday. And if you're from St. Louis County, look, you got to start defending your own county. I go to other counties and do it, but damn it, you people need to do it. If you don't like what's going on, take the mask off. There's a doctor there, by the way. He spoke the other day. Take the mask off. But take the mask off and go there. Put your winter clothes on, get out there for a little bit, and let everybody know you're not happy about what's going on. You would be surprised how warm you would get. Wear gloves. Do what it takes. But my God, don't be the biggest wusses on earth and say, well, I'm not going to do that. Look, I really feel bad for the people in St. Louis County who's had their businesses shut down. Many of them are going out of business. Look, I don't like what St. Louis County's doing, and I do understand some of it, but I'll tell you what, if we don't stand up for our people, our own friends and families and the rest of it, we're toast. The only people going to be in business are going to be corporate business. Yes, because little, the family restaurants that have been for years are going to be closing down because they cannot make it. You've got people who are still getting their salaries, telling other people that they can't have they can't make a living to support their family. So, as much as I feel for you, that fact, I want to go out to Jefferson County. In fact, somebody mentioned it yesterday. I think Keith put something in there about Sam Page yesterday on my Facebook, and I said, as much as I enjoy the fact they're coming out here wanting to spend their money, I don't want I don't want the people. I have a lot of heart for these people. I'm a business owner. I know what it feels like. They're shutting down, stopping them from making a living to support their families, and you're going to sit there with a stupid mask on your face and go in there and say, I'm going to comply because you're too much of a pussy? Oh my God, I'm telling you, pardon me, but I'm sorry. If we can't be brave Americans, what the hell are we doing here? We cannot complain if they take over because you know something? They are, and they have, and it's not over. I do. You know what? I know I put myself out there, and I am, I do put myself in dangerous situations, but I don't care. Do you think they, when you become part of an army, you fight for the cause. You don't run by fear. And do you think, what if our military did the same thing that we do? What if our military, here you go, what if our military's fighting the Chinese and the Chinese are telling them, you don't need your guns? That's exactly what they're doing. I mean, you get down to it. So our enemies in our own country are telling you, put a mask on. Our enemies are telling us what to do, and we're saying, yes, sir, we'll do that. I can't believe that people are so subservient, so compliant to the enemy. And I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but when I walk out my door, I honestly don't think of the fact, am I aware? Hell yes, I'm aware. I'll be the first to tell you, I look around, and I do look in them, trust me, I look in the mirrors more than anybody. But I am not going to live my life in fear. Living in fear is the most dreadful thing anybody can do. And it's such an embarrassing thing to do if that's you. I mean, I don't know how, I got to tell you something. I have a lot of friends who are in on this, and there's a few males out there who I call men because they do stand up and do it. But I got more women friends that stand up more than the men. And I don't call those people men. I call them males. Grow a couple. We need you. To see the Proud Boys, can you imagine how many males wouldn't join them? I would join them in a second, like I said. Maybe we should start our own Proud Boys here in St. Louis. I don't know if they have one. I don't know. But if they are, I want to know, and I want to be a part of it. I will be there. I don't care. I don't go into battle more concerned about me being hurt, and I probably should more than most because I am a target. But I don't go into battle just thinking that I'm gonna get hurt. Well, that's just the way it goes. It's just so difficult to watch other people out there pansy asses beyond belief. I'm sorry. And when we went to Aldi the other day, and like I said, Wendy and I were the only ones in there without a mask on. Now, are you telling me every person in there? And by the way, they didn't say a word to us. Are you telling me that we're the only Republicans in there? Yeah, there's probably more, to tell you the truth, Sherry, there's probably more women out there would become a proud girl than the guys that be proud boys. Dead serious. They think of proud boys as big burly guys. Well, I'm not a little guy. Well, I'm a little guy short-wise, but I still have some muscle and the rest of it. I'm not the stud I used to be. And that's okay. It is what it is. But the more of us, the better. But when we allow these people to own us, and that's what they're doing, our enemies own us right now. I know a lot of people leave watching this right now and say, I don't like him talk about me like that. Then you're one of the wusses. And frankly, I'll be honest with you, I really don't have a lot of patience or like that for wusses. I don't. Grow a couple. Be part of it. And that's for everybody. The left tries to make us out to be radical, uncooperative, and troublemakers. It doesn't matter what they think of us because they are the arrogant ones. When I go on Facebook, I go, when I go on Facebook, some of these things, I go on there and I see the, I see the remarks by the leftists. They're the most arrogant, immature, uninformed jackasses I've ever seen. And you know what one of my favorites is? Trump has done nothing for COVID. I just want to scream when I see that. It's like, under normal circumstances, and Trump's already proved this, by the way. When Trump was in New York City, I think it was at Central Park and Post Office, he took over those things that they couldn't get done right. It was taking forever, and Trump took over and had it done in record time under budget. He did the exact same thing with the vaccine. If people are in the vaccine, he says, you know what? I'm going to do what I do best. I'm going to make sure I get this done. And he did it in record time, things that you never see. And that's exactly what he showed. And what do we get? Well, he hasn't done anything for COVID. The very man that they cheated to try to get to win is involved in COVID. Don't ever think he's not involved in it. Of course he is. He's been working with the Chinese. He's their best friend. He is by far their best friend. And these people are enemy. But I'm telling you right now, they are the minority. They make themselves out to be the majority because we have a corporate media. And I'll say it again. The corporate world who works with Democrats, the media, and established Republicans wants to eliminate family businesses. That's what they wanted. That is their goal here. Because the only man really standing up, and that's why we all have to stand up, the only one really standing up for private business is our president. Do you know how much it drove me crazy when I watched the steelworkers, the union leaders of the steelworkers, of the same damn steel industry that was basically defunct? The union workers get up there and they say, we want to vote for Joe Biden. Do you know how sickening that is? And if you're a union worker that did that, any union worker, that voted for Joe Biden, you are a freaking idiot. You deserve to lose your job. You deserve losing your way to take care of your family. That man was bringing manufacturing. That man was bringing your jobs back to your country. And you're so self-serving, so idiotic. It's only about you. You make me ill. It just, and I'm not against unions. I'm against idiots that vote for union leaders and then vote for somebody that's not helping them. They vote, I'll go back to what I said they did. In St. Louis area, we had 3 car plants. And guess what? We have one, and it's way to hell out in St. Charles County. They got away from St. Louis City. They left. And you know what their union members were telling them when they were trying to screw the American public? When they were trying to screw and say, yeah, we need to get more money. And they were really being paid extremely well. The union leader said, stick with us, stick with us. I know of a lot of those people that lost their jobs because finally management said, we can't afford to pay this anymore. They just kept going more and more and more. As I saw a cartoon a long time ago, unions, born from need and died from greed. I never will forget that. Not everybody does that. My son's a union guy. And in his union, he says right now he's balancing, but he has no choice to do what he does. He goes, I get paid well, but every time they want to start jacking up our income, our wages, and I know it's going to put us out of business, because that's what happens. You keep doing it, eventually you lose your job. Oh, God. These don't even tell. I don't even, I got to tell you something. I am so damn, I am sick to death of the educational industry. They produce nothing. Yeah, you know what they produce? They produce socialists. That's what they produce right now. They are so jealous they get a useless degree and can't make a living. People have common sense, don't have a liberal arts degree, have succeeded. You're absolutely right. You know what? If you go out and you try to make your living as a plumber, as a carpenter, as a blue-collar worker, they can't get enough people. I know people in machine shops are paying really well. They can't get good people. The kids are being taught. This is why I got into it last week about McDonald's and restaurant. Well, McDonald's is all about kids. No, it isn't. The parents, and by the way, those parents are your kids, by the way, if you're a grandparent. If your kids are doing this and say, well, I don't want my kid to work at a dopey job like McDonald's, then you did something wrong. Because you know what? I think that's a great way to learn. A great way to learn how to work. And there should be kids at McDonald's working. You don't see them that much anymore. That's why we have to change our thought process on people at McDonald's should only make this much. No, kids at McDonald's should only be making this much. And it really gets me because and this is conservatives' fault. I'll tell you right now, because it really makes me mad when a conservative turns around and says, "Well, they shouldn't be paying," and I know I've been through this before. They shouldn't be paying those people that kind of money. It's none of your damn business what they're paying them. And second of all, our kids are working at McDonald's? No, they aren't. They're being shamed into thinking that's a low-life job. You're right. Told our kids, I don't mean to yell. Get an education. You don't want to be a plumber. The plumbers are making more money than you, by the way. They're making more money than the ones I know of a lot of. Let me tell you something. I can tell you of a lot of plumbers that are making close to 6 figures. But it's not the job I want because I may get dirty. You know what? Maybe if your mommy and daddies weren't being so protective of you, I don't want my children to have to do something like that. I do. And, my son, I get mad at him sometimes, but my son, when he was younger, he learned to work. I taught him work ethic. We lived in a house. We had an acre. We lived on an acre. He had to mow, his job when he got old enough was to mow the grass. Get on the rider. He put his headphones on or earphones on. He mowed the grass. And he came to me one day. He said, "Dad, I'm working 2 jobs now. Do I still have to mow the grass?" Do you know what most people would have done? They would have said, "No, son, don't worry about it," and put it on themselves. And I said, "Well, guess what?" And we were both single at the time, living together, if that makes sense. He was a teenager. And I was raising myself at the time. I said, "Well, son, I'll tell you what, the grass still grows. The laundry still has to be done. The food has to be made, all that stuff. If you're willing to take on one of those jobs, that's fine. But in the meantime, the grass is still yours." And you know what? Didn't raise an eyebrow, didn't complain. He said, "Okay." Because I explained the facts of life to him. That's why. I have to read that. University teacher I was talking to said he was trying to immigrate to Germany. This man told me they didn't want him. They only wanted people that can do something. You know, there's so many jobs out there. There really are. And we're teaching our kids you go to college, and that's it. And this is the thing that people really don't get. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I figured as a parent, it was my job to teach my children, to have my children get through high school. And if I could afford or whatever, I'd go through college. I couldn't afford it. If they wanted to go to college, it was their business. Yeah. And so what happened was my son went in the Navy. He got out of high school and went in the Navy. Great. I got my room back. These days, it's like, oh, it's your requirement to send me to college, to put me in housing, and let me learn there. And I shouldn't have to work with it. That's where we are today. I'm telling you right now, if that's where your kid is, you have failed as a parent. I really don't care what other parents do. I never cared about that. When my son was little, I remember when he was in grade school, I remember the little Stingray bikes. They were really hot for a while, and if you bought the good ones, they were like $200. I'm sorry, I could go to Kmart back then and buy one for $40, and that's what we got. Really couldn't tell much difference. I really didn't care. And my son made a comment. He says, they paid a lot more money for theirs. And I said, does yours do anything different than theirs or vice versa? No. I said that we saved $160. Aren't you glad you can spend on something else now? It didn't take a whole lot. There's one thing I learned about kids. It's so easy to teach them logic. It's a lot easier to teach them logic when we have a chance than it is other people. Dead serious. Met a guy in Fenton 2016 who said he was completely against abortion, hated Hillary, and liked Trump, but said he thought Trump would eliminate unions and he'd make $3 to $5 an hour, so he voted for Hillary. Well, how'd that work out for him? How'd that work out for him? Trump has never been against unions. That's somebody that didn't do his homework. It just shows you. He voted for Hillary. Well, it's funny you should say that because somebody within our realm here, I'll just put it that way, said he voted for Joe Biden because his union representative said that if he did, he would make $15 an hour more. And I lost so much respect for that young man because it's like, now wait a minute. So a union member tells you this. I don't know how he's going to guarantee it. Of course he's not. And I guess you don't care about socialism to your kids. You don't care about the fact it's going to cost your kids that much more to live. I mean, talk about brain dead. I'm sorry. That just is, and very selfish at that point. You're right, Jim. Right now, freedom means we should get a government check big enough to live on without having to have a job. It's really funny you should say that. It's really interesting because right now we have conservatives doing this, saying, "Well, we need to have the government take care of these business owners. If you are saying this right now, you have lost it. You've lost it. Government is not in the business of taking care of others. Government should have never, ever shut any business down. Ever. We have a choice we're supposed to have a choice in our country. And as far as I'm concerned, this is never going to change. We are supposed to have a choice. And if I don't want to go into a business, I don't walk in there. Ever. But for government to say, well, we don't want to, because the government, Democrats, losers, and they're telling us what you should and shouldn't do is wrong. I tell my kids, when you punch out at work or school, you don't have to punch out of life. Oh, my God, you got that right. You know, it's funny. My last child, we homeschooled. And the difference was she never stopped learning. I have other issues with her, but she never stopped learning because somebody said, well, do you do this? You sit with her the whole time? I said, why? Most people learn more stuff on their own anyway. We lead her to where she needs to go. Yes, we help her in many ways. We teach her the right things, but the one thing we don't do is we don't sit there and coddle her and tell her every little thing she's got to do. We lead her to the path of learning because you know what? I learned, especially, there's no reason not to learn anything today. I can go on YouTube and I look at the good things and the bad things. I can go on YouTube and I know some people say, I don't watch YouTube. I go on YouTube and get what I need out of it. You know, I every once in a while something happens to my vehicle. I still like to fix it sometimes. I go on YouTube and say, all right, and I know how to work on cars pretty well still. But these are new, and I go, all right, this is what's going, that's going on. What can I do? How do I replace this? Whatever. You go on YouTube, you can do it. That goes with anything. You go on there, and they will show you. There are people out there love to share what they have. This is what I'm doing. This is my contribution to YouTube, because I'm on YouTube now. If China Joe becomes our commander-in-chief, who wants her children? Yeah, boy, you're right about that. I wouldn't want my kid in the military. You know what? Right now, they could be in our military to get our country back. I never thought about it. I mean, they have the militias, but I never thought about it. We need our interior military, and that's called the Real Republicans. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's the Real Republicans. Oh, I'm going to bring that back up. I'm glad you brought up business. I have a big place in my heart for businesses. I really do. Being a business person myself, I have a big spot in my heart for them because when I see them, I read something the other day in Illinois, over 11,000 small businesses have closed forever. Do you know what that does to me? That breaks my heart. Look at all the things that's happened. These people, many of them have lost their jobs. Many of them have lost all their income. Some of them have lost everything they have. I know one person who opened a restaurant up. I was talking to a friend of mine. She said this woman opened up a restaurant in February this year in Illinois. In March, they shut her down. She put her life savings out there. If she wanted to open a restaurant, if she knew she could do it, the government quashed it. You know what I think? I think she should sue. I think there should be a way of suing the person making these proclamations and saying that you ruined my life, you cost me this. Hey, the Pritzker family, by the way, they don't care. Have you ever noticed the people making these proclamations are multi-billionaires or millionaires, whatever? The Pritzkers are billionaires. Did you notice that our buddy Bill Gates came out the other day and said, I think there should be a shutdown till 2022. Well, I wonder how he's going to live, huh? He's got more money, you know what to do. He's one of the richest guys in the world. It's real easy for anybody with all kinds of money to tell somebody else they don't need their money. Do you see them supporting him? Do you see Pritzker going out there and say, look, I feel bad for you. I'm going to send you $100,000. I want to send you. No. Not one of these jackasses do that stuff. Because why? It's not about COVID. That's the biggest thing in the world. It's not about COVID. I was told by my own sister that my kids are backwards because they were raised in a country taught values. Oh my God. They were taught values like tradition, patriotism, whatever. You know what, Nancy, you're right. But those closed businesses cost a lot more. And oh, wait a minute. Let's go to the COVID deaths real quick in Illinois. I would bet you that less than 10% of those COVID deaths were only related to COVID. Whenever I see those numbers, they're all just blown up out of proportion. We all know that. But if you watch TV, oh, you know how much they love it? There were 7 members of this family that died of COVID. Could have been. By all means, 7 members of a family died of COVID. We don't know the whole story, by the way. Shut the country down. No, you don't shut the country down. You destroy lives when you do that. And if you really care about your fellow human being, honest to God, that's the last thing you should be doing. So, people always ask me, how do we fix this? By getting off your butts and becoming part of the solution. I'll tell you one thing, we really have some great people that are getting involved right now, and it makes me so happy. But we need thousands more. What idiot law gave an edict the teeth that law has? If an edict comes from bureaucrat, is that Sam Page is keeping indoor dining shut down for 2 more weeks. He hasn't killed enough. Oh my God. Is that today, Julie? Oh my God. That man. By the way, he still makes his salary. That's just it. I don't get it. Why? Okay, when that happens, I know the businesses are doing their best to hang on, but a lot of them don't know where to go. That was today. Thank you. How many more businesses will that destroy? Those people aren't stopping eating out. Those people are going to other places. That's why it's not about COVID. That's why people have to understand. Let's just go on the premise, which all of us know is bullshit. Let's go on the premise that people going into restaurants is causing COVID to spread. Those people are still going to other restaurants generally. They're going out to Jefferson County. They're going out to St. Charles County. I see them all the time. The places in this area are a lot busier than ever. Do you know that the tax receipts in both counties have gone up over last year? Yeah, if you notice these restrictions, all these occur near a holiday. Yes, it's destroying tradition. People think it's about COVID. No. You know who else it helps out a lot? And I hear people say it. I totally understand. They go, I just do all my shopping online. Amazon loves you. eBay loves you. All these online companies. And who gets hurt? And I'm not blaming people for doing it. So please, you don't have a lot of choice sometimes. That's why it's time for everybody to stand up. And I mean stand up, not just listen to a show, but what can I do? When I hear somebody say, what can I do? It just, you know what? I'm not used to hearing it. I'm really not used to hearing it. Yes, Sam Page is destroying Christmas. So, you ever notice they're all Democrats? Honest to God. And the smoke and mirrors guys are the ones up in the governor seats. You know, when you have to compare DeWine and Kemp to make Mike Parson look good, you know you're really digging deep. You know, it's funny, Sherry used to say that everybody in St. Charles and Jefferson County would be in the hospital. In St. Louis, Jefferson County would be in the hospital. If you go there, see, this is what's funny. If you go to the Jefferson County Mercy, they don't have many COVID patients at all. No, they don't. And the COVID patients that are having the most are the ones that have the mask mandates. The ones where they get to breathe in the Petri dishes. Yes, they breathe in those dishes. Oh, yes. I just, common sense has left us. It just has. We go ahead and we continue to push this lie about COVID. It's not about, you're right, it's about control. That's all it is. But Carl, we are allowing it. See, that's just it. We blame the politicians. Granted, they deserve it. But I wonder how many people that watch this show have called all the people involved. I'm trying to think of a different way I could do this. All the people who are by them. There is a website. I'm just going to bring it up. I don't want to put my address in there because I don't need any idiots here. Not if you really actually, it's hard to find me. Works out great. There's a reason why I did certain things. It's hard to find me. You can look up all the things you want, and it's going to be. I have a couple of face shields, but I use that for speech purposes when I go to the Jefferson County Health Department. And right now, they're not even letting us do that. Oh, where is it here? There is a website. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, come on. Oh, I hate that when I can't find something. Give me a second here, folks. We'll find it. I want to find something here real quick because it's so important. I thought I saved it. Maybe I didn't. Oh, here it is. Here it is, finally. You can go to this website. I find this to be the best website. Let me bring it up here real quick. This website here, if you can see this, it's called myreps.datamade.us, okay? When you go to that website, if you put your address in there, let me try it here without putting, I don't want anybody to see my address. I don't need any more idiots out there coming to my house than I have already. As long as it is showing here, we're in good shape. So let me try it here. I don't know if it, let me see. Let me move that. Okay, it doesn't show it. All right, I'll bring this over again now. When you look at this, I put my address in there, which I erased right now, but I put it in there, and the reason I bring this up is, look at this. It shows you everybody that we have in my area, local, county, state, and federal. There are others, but those are the main ones. So I can go in there, and there's Dave Marshak. He's my sheriff. He's a friend of mine, by the way. Contact. There's his office. You see that? There's his email address. Everybody should have this website. Everybody. Dennis Gannon, right there. Contact him. Call these people. Everybody's got it. It's not that hard to figure out. There are other ones. I found this to be the best one. There's my state senator. Okay, there's my state representative, my governor, lieutenant governor. You can go down, even Supreme Court judges. Here's the federal government. Josh Hawley is our senator. Roy Blunt's our senator. Trump, Pence, and Wagner is my congresswoman. It's not that, everybody should have this. Everybody should have this. So let me get back to normal here. But everybody should see that. If they got contacts, you should have it. It's the best one I've found. There are other ones out there, but that's the best one. So it's myreps.datamade.us. So if you can do that, I'll put it on my here. Let me put it in my comments here. Let me do it this way. I'll put it. That'd be the best way. Okay. Let me do this. I'll put it right here. I'll put it on the comments, and you can have it. So, now I got to bring this up here. Give me a second here. I'll bring it up. Make sure that doesn't come up. And I got to make sure my phone's on because I don't see it. But I'll bring it to comments real quick here, and then you can go ahead and see it here. So, come on. Except it shouldn't have that other. Let me fix it real quick here. Oh, there it is there. Let me just fix this. It doesn't matter. It'll work. I had that other one in there by accident, but it doesn't matter. I'm a perfectionist. Let me fix it real quick so you got it. Get rid of this thing here. We don't need that. Okay. Yes, I'm a perfectionist, except for my shows. There you go. That's the best one. If you use that one, you know most of them. Now, that doesn't include school board and stuff like that. You can look those up, and we're actually when we get Real Republicans going, you will have that. You're right. If you would just call one politician, even if it's on there, a lot of them it's going to be voicemail. Don't be rude. I mean, you don't have to be rude because they're not going to take you serious. But call them and say, tell them, first of all, you work for us. I always like to remind them you work for us. And if you tell them you work for us and let them know that, that you're not happy, that you want them. In Missouri, I've been telling everybody, call your state rep or other state reps. Don't make it. Call the state reps, call the state senator, and tell them to tell the governor to take away this stupid emergency order. It is making life miserable for so many people because it's about CARES money. And in fact, I posted something last week that it just really irritated me. There is my former state rep who wrote the mail-in voting law, Dan Shaw, still sends me stuff. After he hears this, he'll probably start doing it because it's my way of keeping track of him. He's telling you how wonderful he is. And you know what he was bragging about? He was bragging about the fact that the state is doing quite well money-wise. It's doing really great. Isn't that just wonderful? Isn't it wonderful the state is doing so well? You know what I thought of first? What he should be thinking of. Of course, he wasn't. The first thing I thought of was that how are those businesses doing that have gone out of business? What about those people that lost their livelihoods due to this bullshit? What about those people? You don't care about them. You're not mentioning the fact that we've lost these many businesses. And the reason our state's doing better is because Illinois, for instance, is closing down restaurants. They're doing stuff like that. In some areas here, you don't have to wear a mask. They're really stringent in a lot of places in Illinois. You think it's, I don't know what they're doing. In Chicago, I feel bad for people in Chicago. Where are they going to go? You can't go to Michigan. I mean, I don't know. Of course, they kind of get what they deserve up there anyway. But still, there's a lot of people out there who don't deserve that. It's fun. It's funny you should say that. I asked that question, Wendy. I said, "Do you get lipstick on your mask?" She goes, "Yeah." So look at a mask worn by a female for a day. If she wears lipstick, you can see much crap next to your intake port. That's why doctors change masks every few hours in surgery and don't wear them when they're out of surgery. These idiots on the left that are so arrogant even make a comment about that. The doctor that talked with me at Mercy South after my wife's heart attack was not wearing a mask. Oh my God, he was spreading COVID, wasn't he? You know what the idiots on the left are telling me? They go, that's why when a doctor performs surgery, he wears a mask. Well, first off, if he's got COVID and he's wearing a mask and he doesn't know he's got COVID, that mask isn't stopping anything. Okay? It's not stopping anything. So get over it. Get over it. They don't wear N95 masks. They wear paper masks. That's what they wear. They're stopping the spit and the garbage get through. But that helps. No, really? How come they stick that stupid needle or whatever, not needle, that stick or Q-tip halfway up your nose to see if you got COVID? If you're, first it was like 6 feet away. Now they're saying 10 feet away. Now it's like everybody wears them. I mean, come on. Are we all that stupid? Doctors are in a hospital full of sick people. You know what something I picked up on a long time ago and nobody talks about it? What do you get from a hospital? Have you heard it before? It's called a staph infection. I always wondered, is that an infection you get from the staph? Wow. I went to the hospital to get well, and by the way, there's people who go to the hospital get COVID also. Yes, they get COVID. COVID, look, I am telling you right now, I figure someday we all may get COVID. But I also, if and when we get it, that we're all going to rock right through it like some of our friends. Because I got so many friends, the very few, by the way, I have a lot of friends who don't wear masks. And very few that have gotten COVID. And basically every single friend who doesn't wear a mask walked right through it. Not a problem. Oh, and yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Have you noticed the hospitals are the ones that are, I'm serious about this. The hospitals are the ones that are pushing the mask. Oh, yes. Now, I want everybody to think about this because don't think of them as a loving, caring hospital like they want you to think they are. Oh, goodness. If you think that, I'm still trying to sell that oceanfront property in Kansas. If you really believe for 1 second that hospitals are not there for the money, you have bought the farm. Hospitals are there for the money. They have legislation involved. They have all kinds of things involved to make sure doctors have to work with them. There's so much at the hospital association. They own the doctors. Ask a doctor and they'll tell you that there's so much they can't do because of the hospital associations. Do you know how pissed off the hospitals hate it? They hate it when some of these doctors have to jump through hoops to have their own place where they could do outpatient surgery. The hospitals want it done there. Yes. So what's the bet? This is logic. Come on, folks. Stop thinking the hospitals are there because they care about you. They care about your wallet. Now, there may be a lot of people in the hospitals that care. And by the way, a lot of these nurses and doctors are not like that. But a lot of them are. 60 Minutes did a report years ago of how the hospital associations were pushing doctors to make sure that a portion of their patients went to the hospital. That they had to go in. Yes. If you don't have 10% of you're not meeting our goals. They have goals. So think about it. If you wear a Petri dish on your mouth and you're breathing in those poisons, this is common sense. No, Dave, you're not a doctor. Oh, well, how well is it working for the ones in the areas where they have all these mask mandates in place? They're all getting worse. And they're killing business. They're doing all this stuff. So I'm using common sense. If common sense is a problem with you, turn off the show because that's who we are. And I talked about this earlier. You're bringing in poison. That's all you're doing. You don't think the hospitals aren't loving that? They're going, this is great. We got these effing idiots. Trust me, that's what we're saying. We got these idiots wearing these stupid masks. The only thing they're doing is infecting themselves. They're giving us future business. We are going to have so much money. You know what? If you have stocks, I never thought about this. We all ought to be buying hospital stock. Absolutely. That's probably where to go because they are building their business like you've never seen. So not only are they getting more money for COVID deaths, they're getting it for everything. Everything. Oh, and let me tell you how really wonderful these hospitals are, okay? The hospitals figured out a way to get rid of staff when COVID came around. Because when COVID came around, they said, oh my God, we see money, all kinds of extra money coming this way. They can come here. We can charge more for COVID. The federal government's going to pay, plus the insurance. Everybody's going to pay more. We're going to have a lot more money per patient. That's how it works. That's how they make their money. Yes, those good old Catholic hospitals. That's how they make their money. So, right now, let's do what Congress does. Let's think ahead. Let's all buy hospital stock, whatever the companies are, I don't know. Not hard to figure out these days. And we'll buy stock in it and see how well we do. I'll tell you what, don't think it doesn't work. I didn't have money back then to invest, but do you know when Obamacare went into place? When Obamacare went into place, everybody's going, well, the insurance companies, what are they going to do? The insurance companies were in on it. Because the stock for insurance companies, they were forced to buy. Remember that? They were forced to get insurance at much higher prices. Oh, yes, Obamacare is going to be affordable. No, for those people, there were some people, it got to be really cheap. But for most people like us, it jacked up. Ours, when we had it, we had to drop it. It was $320 a month for our family. When Obamacare hit, almost $900 a month, and the deductibles were outrageous. Like $10,000. It was unbelievable. It was like, I can't afford this crap. So here I was, paying, just like everything else, paying for everybody else's crap. And I didn't have health insurance. What a wonderful experience. That's how it works. So if you really believe for 1 second, and you can call in, by the way, if you really believe for 1 second that this is about affordable and the rest of it, but, back to what I was saying. I looked up the stock prices. Let's just give me let me see, Blue Cross, Blue Cross stock prices. It was quadrupled, I think it was, something like that. Yeah, they did quite well. We see they do Anthem. Oh, it's called Anthem. Okay, theirs went from back in. Let me see. This is only 5 years. Can't do 5 years because it was a lot lower. I don't know how I can find out. Let me see. Let's do 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Let's try that. 10-year chart. There you go. 10-year chart. Oh, it's 10 a.m. Let's go back. Blue Cross stock history. Let's do that. Oh, goodness gracious. Max. Okay, here we go. Max. Alrighty. I'm looking it up right now. Let me see. Obama became president in 2008. Let me see. Obamacare 2010 took a little time. Okay, let's in 2000 December 2010. The stock price for Anthem. You ready for this? The stock price for Anthem was $57 a share. Fast forward. Let's fast forward to today. $305 a share. What do you think? Obamacare worked out really well for them. Now, where do you think they get that? Why do you think that happened? Yes, it's gone up. Yes, not a bad investment since Obamacare. It's skyrocketed after Obamacare. They did really well. So, isn't that wonderful? Isn't that just great that Obamacare did so much? Obamacare made a lot of people wealthy. Let me see here. I see what you're saying, Jim. I just looked at the election results in this county, Stafford County, Virginia. Trump got 47%. Now, Virginia has leaned left for quite a while. And actually, for Trump to get 47% in that county, because there's a lot more Democrats there, is really a high number. Compared, but there was a lot more. But anyway, let's just look at this, because I know most real Democrats really voted for Trump. They didn't like the Republican Party. They voted for Trump because they realized he wasn't he was not an establishment Republican. Let's put it that way. But let me continue here. The Republican Senate candidate got 48% of the votes. Now, see, that's bull, because I know of a lot of Democrats who said they split their ticket, which is unusual. They voted for Trump because they didn't like Biden. They liked what Trump was doing. And they voted for the Democrat as far as Senate goes. That's a fact. So that's why it's a blatant lie when they said that the Senate candidate got more votes than the other one. Whitman served in Congress 2007 as a ranking Republican on the Armed Service Committee. Why are the Democrats not able to unseat him? Exactly right. You see, the Democrats absolutely did not want the Republican in there. They didn't. But there were so many Democrats that went in there and said, you know what? And I guarantee you this is what happened. Most Democrats that voted for Trump said, well, we do know that we have to let Trump with his agenda get through, so I'll even vote for the Republican this time. That happened, I guarantee you. But not according to what they're trying to give us with these glitches and the rest of the stuff, all the phony bullshit that we got from the voting. That's exactly what happened. So if anybody really thinks that, let me see, why are the Democrats not able to unseat him? His opponent. Oh my God! Let's go to Georgia for a minute. Georgia, those nutcases on the left that are running against Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, they are good. I mean, they're nuts, and now there's money coming from everywhere, from out of the state. But there's more than twice as much money coming from the left coast and the right coast. Actually, they're both left, from the East Coast and West Coast, that want this because they realize how important this is. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, in that county, they keep Republicans. See, that's, Jim, you and I have been around too long. We know how that works. The coattails of Donald Trump was a lot stronger than coattails than anybody probably since Reagan. I mean, really, they were. This is why I really don't like the current Republican Party as we speak today. Those same Republicans that lived off of his coattails, Lindsey Graham and so many others, are not standing up for him, saying, no, this is crap. We have to do something. Where do you see these Republican senators standing up? Where are you, Roy Blunt? Oh, you're not on that side. You're too interested in moving forward so you can get your buddy Joe Biden here, because maybe Joe will help you do something. That's what happens. When you get your guy, I would almost guarantee you. I wish there was some way to find out. I'd almost guarantee you that Roy Blunt probably voted for Joe Biden. I would almost guarantee you there's many Republicans, established Republicans, that voted for Joe Biden. There's not many of them, don't get me wrong. And they probably don't like me to say this, but it doesn't matter to me. But I'll put money on that one. Oh, they would not vote for a Pakistani Muslim, even if. Well, it's both ways, though. Jim, I think there was so much vote garbage going on. You know, you're right. It probably was just over the top, and people maybe that would even upset the Democrats. The Democrats have said, "No, I'm not going to vote for this Muslim." I get it. It's a combination. I see what you're saying, though. Yeah, they wouldn't vote for the Pakistani Muslim. You're right about that. But you know what? Look at what they're doing. Look what they're doing in Georgia, though. That Warnke, that guy's a nutcase. He really is. And this is where you got to watch out for established Republicans. There are some establishment Republicans. Oh, I know. There are some established Republicans. Well, you got George W. Bush, Biden. But in Georgia, there are some established Republicans playing this game. And they're saying, well, we can't trust, and this is them acting like they're on our side. Don't ever believe them. They're saying, well, we can't trust the vote, so don't even bother to vote. Trust me in this, my friends. Those are establishment Republicans. There was right now, David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler are going to owe President Trump, and the establishment doesn't want that. Yeah. Well, yeah, W is established. That's just it. Most of the Bushes voted for Joe Biden. Jim, that's the fact. That's why, I'll tell you another reason why we got to make sure Trump gets in there. Because I think after this is over, we are going to get from the top, just like we did with the vaccine. We're going to get things from the top, pushing down, coming up with the most honest election stuff we could ever come up with. At least on a federal level. I think it should be on a state level too, because I can tell you right now, even in local elections, we get screwed. Because established Republicans. But on a national level, why are there so many different ways of doing federal votes from states? That's something I really never understood. Why? How do you do that? There should be certain standards. You got to meet other standards. Why not voting? Who is it that's against voter ID? Democrats. The establishment doesn't care. Oh, they never believe them. By the way, like I said the other day, all these different congressmen and senators don't always go by who's on the list as though they're on our side. That the ones you got to look out for the most are ones that barely won, and see if they are really on our side. You go by the legislation. You got it right, Patrick. The RNC and DNC, two of the most crooked companies. You know what? The only thing that changes, this is what I've said for years. You got Democrats on the left, Republicans on the right. That's what they want you to think. Trust me in this. In the RNC and the DNC, they all wear the same shirts. They all have the same uniform on. They just have different hats. That's all it is to it. When they're talking over the right, they take their hat, put on their red hat. They talk to people on the left, they put on their blue hat. That's what they do. Don't think it's anything different. If you believe that, forget it. Oh, I'm shocked by that. BLM is against voter ID. I'm shocked by that. Oh, God. I have to tell you, though, there was somebody knocking police earlier. Don't get me wrong. There are crap police. I'll be the first to point them out. But most of them are good people. They're on our side. Did you see it where one of the Antifa people, I believe, stabbed a couple Proud Boys, and the police stood back and let them beat the hell out of them. Now, you may not like that because you're a wuss. I loved it. I thought it was great. It's like, hey, you stabbed them. We used to call that street justice. Of course, these days you're supposed to stop it as soon as you ever notice you're supposed to stop it when the thug is getting hurt. I'll stop it after the thug gets a little retaliation. How's that? Let's not kill him. Let's just make sure he doesn't do that again. Do you know most Antifa people are cowards? I don't believe for 1 second that there's not there may be a couple, I don't know. Every Proud Boy is there because they're proud. They do it for a reason. You damn right he's a Democrat. I've said that for years. Hey, Patrick, I'm going to put you on the list. You're joining real Republicans. Because we're going to change that. We're going to expose every damn pathetic, phony-ass Republican in our county and state and country as this movement keeps going on, because I am sick to death of people voting for people that they think they are Republican because they got that stupid letter next to their name. Hey, you know what? Maybe we should go ahead and figure out how to make our party a party called Real Republican. Therefore, we have 3 parties. We got the Republicans and we got the Real Republicans. So, oh boy. All right, well, listen, folks, we're getting close to the end here. I got to end the show here. I will be back tomorrow. Just a little announcement here. I really can't do 5 shows a week. It's really a lot of work, and I don't have that kind of time. I really don't. I'm what I've thought about doing. I'll get your feedback, and maybe doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday like I always did. No, it's going to be called Real Republicans. We're past that, Faye. Real Republicans, because you got to understand, people identify with Republican Party, and so it's easier. And this is why it's brilliant. By the way, the Republican Party, we want them to say, no, I'm not just a Republican. I'm a real Republican. If you say patriot, everybody's a patriot. I'll tell you what, if they can be a patriot, they can be a Republican. I mean, we're already there. We're not changing it. That's what, I mean, unless Donald Trump says we're going to have a patriot party, we're not going to change it, because people are not going, been there. It's called a third party. Third parties never win. And this is as close you can get. I mean, that's why there's a strategy to it. Please understand that. But anyway, back to my shows. I just had to answer that. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I'm thinking about doing a Saturday morning show like 8 to 10. I'm thinking about doing that. I want to get your link one more time, Dave. Okay. Oh, you mean well, you know what? That's a good idea. I'm glad you said that. Let's do got to do the right keyboard here. This way people can go to our website. And there's not much to it yet, so please, like I said, if you are, this is what it is right now, but please don't think that that this is where it's going to end up. But it's going to be really great once we get going. And this is one reason why, because I found myself working so hard on 5 shows, I couldn't do some of the rest of the stuff I needed to do. So that's why. So let me get to this, and I have to go back to my show here on my other computer because I'm not going to... Well, actually, I can do it there. Here we go. Let's do it this way. I don't know why I didn't think of this. Here we go. See, there you go. RealRepublicans.net. If you grab that, we'll have a contact form, stuff like that on there. If you'd like to join, go to Real Republicans on Facebook. There's several. Our Facebook page has the Trump family on it, so that's why. So anyway, all right, everybody. I appreciate everybody watches the show, listens to it. Do one evening show. Find that I've thought about that too. So if I can, either an evening show or a Saturday show, I'll figure out which one to do. I just the evening shows are hard for me. They really are. I'm a morning guy. I don't do well in the evenings. Usually that's my tea time or something like that. I don't get drunk every night. Don't think that, but no, those are the hard shows to do. But I will consider it. So anyway, all right, bye. Thanks for listening so much. I will see you tomorrow. You all have a wonderful day.
You can't quit.
And why not? I got fired.
You can't fire him.
Why not?
He quit.
Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
German? Forget it, he's rolling.
It ain't over now. Because when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Who's with me? Let's go! Come on! Ah! Thanks. I needed that.